that thing is smooth. Very smooth. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out the range and I brought out a special Christmas present that was given to me by a friend of the industry who will remain anonymous unless he says that he wants me to mention his name. But this is probably one of the best Christmas presents I've ever gotten, and it took me totally by surprise. He sent me a rifle that I've talked to him about quite a bit. When I visited him at his place in his home state, he mentioned he had this rifle, and I always told him, if you ever want to sell that rifle, please let me know because I really, really want it. And the rifle that he sent me for Christmas as a surprise is this Luxembourg contract 30-06 FN Model 49. And these rifles have a really cool history behind them. It is a Luxembourg contract gun, which means it is again in 30-06. A lot of these rifles that came into the country were brought in as 8mm Mausers. They were Egyptian contract guns or Chilean or something like that. But a very small number, about 6,000 if my research is right. Now when I do a full video on this rifle, I'll dig up all the facts on it. But I believe only about 6,000 of these guns actually made it into the United States. They're very desirable because they are in the more common 30-06 caliber, which here in the States is a lot easier to come by than 8mm Mauser is these days. But yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful rifle. The rifle, again, has a very interesting history behind it, especially because of the person that designed it, and we'll talk about that more here in depth in a few minutes. I just wanted to show you guys this rifle, and also I hope that you guys had a very Merry Christmas yourselves, and also are going to have a very Happy New Year. 2015 looks to be like it's going to be a very great year for us here at the Military Arms Channel. Also on Full 30, which if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see that I've been posting more and more about Full 30. I'll put a link to that down below for you guys to check out, but it's going to be a great year, and especially now that my good friend sent me this for Christmas. This rifle loads from the top. It's very similar to the Garand, and I'll talk a little bit again about the history of the gun here shortly. But this rifle was in development about the same time that the M1 Garand was in development. The development was stopped because of the Second World War, and then after the war ended, or I should say after the occupation of Belgium ended by the Germans, the development of this rifle resumed. And it was adopted in 1949 by the Belgians, and then several other countries adopted it as well, including Luxembourg, which requested them in this 30-06 chambering. You can load it. It has a fixed 10-round magazine. You can load it through the top, either individually, or it has a stripper guide here. I don't have the proper stripper clips for it, but you just load it through the top like that, unlike the Garand that uses an end block. You charge the rifle. It's ready to go. I'll go ahead and charge it, make it ready. Safety is right here. It blocks access to the trigger if you're right-handed. Grab some ears here really quick. And let's fire this rifle for you guys. I only put a few rounds in it. It's a really neat little gun. So I've already charged the rifle here, and I'm going to go ahead and just fire off a few rounds out of it. It has the rear sight here. I have it set for 100 meters. And the recoil on this thing is just buttery smooth. It's really nice for a 30-06. Was the last round. Locks open on the last shot fired. Recharge and repeat as necessary. A cool feature of the gun is that it has this charging handle on the side, but look right here. You see where it's slightly open? You can push this little slider closed and it keeps the gun protected from the ingress of debris. Now in my research about these rifles, it turns out these rifles are well known for their accuracy and reliability. And many people say if this rifle would have came along a little bit earlier, it probably could have given the M1 Garand a run for its money in terms of popularity and usage on the world stage. From what I can say from my limited experience with this rifle right now, though, it's a real dream to shoot. It's definitely a prized possession of my collection. I have the FN49 sitting here next to my H&R Garand. I just wanted to show you this rifle next to the Garand because had this rifle gone to market before the Second World War, it would have competed directly with this rifle. You can see that they're about the same length. The FN49 weighs about 9.8 pounds, has a really nice trigger on it, but you'll notice that the mechanism for the magazine for the Garand is contained within the belly of the Garand. I call this a belly because it dips down, whereas the 10-round, this is an 8-shot magazine, whereas the FN49 has a 10-round box magazine that sticks out from the bottom of the rifle. Now this magazine isn't designed to be taken out and put back in like a traditional magazine. It is meant to be loaded via stripper clip or single rounds. And of course the Garand uses the N-block clip system, which is an actual clip. This isn't a magazine, has no spring in it. The spring that operates the magazine is actually contained within the Garand itself. The FN49 has a charging handle on the side of the rifle, and again it locks open when the last round's fired. Now I can tell this rifle was made for the Luxembourg contract because it has this really fancy script on the top that says AL. My rifle has all the serial numbers matching, and it has a barrel that's about 23 inches long. Again, it chambers 30-06, and it's super simple to load. All the lines on this rifle are very sleek. It's a very modern looking rifle for its age. It's a great looking gun, has a gas system very similar to the FAL. Now, Save also worked on the FAL. He also, you may know him because he completed the Browning high power for John Browning after his death. He had a big role in the design of that handgun as well. So a very famous firearms designer who designed this rifle. So I've loaded it. I'm gonna go ahead and charge it, put it on safe. Safety lever's right here. I'm gonna fire it here for you guys really quick. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna fire it next to the Garand. Now, loading the Garand is completely different. You can pull the bolt to the rear, take your end block clip, put your hand right here. This will keep the bolt from closing on your hand. Put your hand right there, put the clip on top, and push down. And once it's down, it'll release and go home. Sometimes when you're pushing down on that end block clip, if you don't have your hand in front of that charging handle, when you release your pressure on the spring, it's going to go home. That's what they call M1 Garand thumb. That bolt will take a big chunk of flesh off. Safety lever on the Garand is right here, just like an M1A. I'm gonna go grab some ears really quick, and then we'll shoot these rifles for you. First up, the M1 Garand. This is an absolute classic battle rifle. If you're an American and you don't own one of these, you're not completely an American. You need to get one of these rifles. If you shoot a lot, you love military rifles, if you don't have a Garand in your collection, you're doing something wrong. A beautiful rifle, a pussycat with a 30-06 cartridge that it fires, and just elegant, accurate, and just an amazing implement of war that really won the Second World War for us in the hands of our soldiers and Marines. Love this gun. Kicks its end block clip out. You can hear it and see it. Just a beautiful machine. Let's grab that FN49 really quick. So let's fire a few rounds out of the FN49. Now the rifle feels very similar to the Garand in how it shoulders and how you use the sights. The sights are quite a bit different. This rear sight peep is much more broad. It's like a wall there with a small hole in it. So it has a more obstructed view than the M1 Garand does. But the front sight blade is much more narrow. So it offers a better sight picture for precision work. I can't wait to get this rifle to the long range and shoot it side by side with the M1 Garand. Now these rifles are far more common in 8mm chambering here in the United States, so I'm very fortunate to have one of these 30-06 Luxembourg contract guns. Now these guns are still quite popular, I believe, in Europe. People still shoot them over there quite a bit, and they're probably more common as 8mm guns over there as well. The Luxembourg contract guns, even though they made quite a few of them for Luxembourg, I still think the 8mm guns far outnumber the 30-06 guns. We'll have to look up the numbers on them. It's a very mild gun to shoot, has nice recesses here. Again, it feels very much like the M1 Garand, but I think the recoil impulse is slightly less with this rifle than it is on the Garand. Fire off a few rounds here. Yeah, it's a very nice feeling rifle. It shoots really, really good. Check these sights out. All the way up to what is it? Looks like 1,000 meters. It's a bit optimistic. Who knows though, I may try to shoot it out to 1,000 meters, see if those sights are on. It'd be kind of fun to do since we have a 1,000-yard range. But yeah, a very nice shooting, very ergonomic rifle. Just what a great rifle to shoot. Can you tell I like it? I like it quite a bit. I'll tell you a little bit about the history that I know of the rifle right now. In the 1930s, Dieudonné Save, who was the head firearms designer for FNH back in the 1930s, was tinkering around with some delayed locking mechanisms in rifles. And he decided then to start working towards short-stroke gas system rifles in the 1930s, late 1930s. Around 1938, 1939, he was working on a rifle that would have been very similar to this FN49 that had a 5-round box magazine, and he was about ready to go to market with it when the Germans invaded Poland. Once the Germans invaded Poland, they stopped production plans for the FN49, which wasn't called the FN49 then, but its predecessor. They stopped those plans and started to produce more bolt actions and machine guns for the war effort. When the Germans invaded Belgium in 1940, all plans for this rifle ceased right then and there, and SAFN moved over to England and continued his development work. Now, the Brits, if I recall, took an interest in this rifle and actually had a few prototypes built for their own evaluation, but nothing really ever came of that. After the occupation of Belgium ended by the Germans, SAFN returned to Belgium and resumed the work on this rifle, and in 1949 the Belgians adopted the rifle, and several other countries, as I'd mentioned. So the rifle has a very interesting history behind it, and again, if this rifle had gone into production a little bit earlier, perhaps it would have made a bigger impact on the world stage during World War II, because it was really close to being into production when the war started. So who knows, maybe the Allies would have had a different battle rifle if things had happened just a little bit differently with Germany. All right, guys, we're going to tie things up. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my Christmas present from a very close friend. I'll talk more about this rifle in the future. I'll take this rifle out to the long range, shoot it side by side with my M1 Garand, and see how they fare. I'll also show you guys how to break the rifle down, how it disassembles, all that good stuff. I'll get into a little bit more detail in the next video. But meanwhile, I hope you guys have a really good and safe New Year. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. I hope you got the stuff that you wanted. More importantly, I hope your kids got the stuff they wanted. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/military arms. Also, please come by, check us out on Instagram. I'll put a link to all that good stuff down below. I also invite you to come by and check out our online store at Copper Custom, and you can find us at coppercustom.com there. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.